I asked over 300 people what they struggle with more, nutrition or training. So today I'm going to go over the 3-step process that you can follow so that you can get in control of your nutrition and start making the progress that you actually want to see. Point number 1 is to figure out what you're currently eating. You don't just want to know what you're eating, you also want to know when you're eating it, and you want to try and use that information to figure out why you might be eating certain things. So I understand that tracking your meals can be pretty soul destroying and pretty boring, but it can really help to get a solid idea of what's currently going on. It's like a map. If you're lost, you can look at the map, figure out where you are, and you might not need to look at it again. Maybe you walk a bit further and then you can have another look at the map, but you don't need to spend the entire journey staring down at the map. You can simply track for 3 days, figure out where you are, make small changes, and then periodically track your nutrition just to make sure that you're still on the right track. The main things that we're kind of on the lookout for is, firstly, how many calories in total do you tend to eat every day? Now, the issue for most people is you probably eat more calories than you actually think you do. But even just getting an idea of how many calories you're eating per day can make a massive difference in feeling more empowered to change things. We're also looking for how much protein you tend to eat in a day. Now, if you've started lifting weights, you've started training with kettlebells, you don't want all of that training to go to waste. You want your body to adapt and recover as effectively as possible. And if you don't give your body the tools to do that, aka protein, it can't recover and grow. Not eating enough protein is like trying to build a house when you don't have enough bricks. It's literally impossible to build a solid structure if you just don't have the raw materials to do it. And the most important raw material is protein. They are the building blocks, they're the bricks that go into building a house. And then the third thing we want to know is, what times of the day are you most likely to overeat? Is it as soon as you get home from work? Is it late at night? Figure out when are you most likely to overeat, and then you can do something about it. Step 2 is to figure out what can change, but approach this slowly. Don't overhaul your diet, don't change everything that you eat. So my advice is to focus on making substitutions, not taking things away. Don't subtract, just substitute. If you find that, I don't know, you eat 300 calories of mayonnaise every day, well, there's an easy fix, just switch to light mayo. If you find that the minced beef that you have in your spaghetti has 500 calories per portion because it's 15% fat, well, next time you do your weekly shop, get one that's 5% fat. If the yogurt that you eat every morning has 300 calories in it, well, maybe switch to a lower fat yogurt or a lighter version of the same yogurt. So a really common thing I see is people eating, for example, 2 pieces of toast and 2 eggs for breakfast. If this is you and your goal is to lose fat, maybe you should try eating 1 piece of bread but 3 eggs. Or for dinner, instead of having equal parts carbohydrate and protein, try and have a bit more protein and a bit less carb. And I'll explain why this is important in step 3, but my final point for step 2 is to try and focus on tackling one meal at a time. And the reason is, if you change too many things too soon, you'll end up just overwhelming yourself, you'll end up quitting, nutrition goes out the window and you're back to square one. Focus on one thing at a time, one change per week. This might be, this week you change your regular mayonnaise for light mayonnaise. Maybe the next week you change your 15% fat beef mince to 5% fat beef mince. So just focus on one thing at a time. The thing that I see all the time is that people expect too much too soon to change, and the second that the results don't come quick enough, they quit. Don't be like these people, be patient, be methodical, and just change one thing at a time. And step 3 is to make sure that you're eating enough protein. And there's 2 reasons why. The first reason is that protein keeps you full for longer. Here's an experiment that you can try if you don't believe me. Try and sit down one night with 1,000 calories of chocolate, cakes, cookies, ice cream, sweets, and try to eat all of it. You'll probably finish it in about 10 minutes. It'd be so easy to do. The next night, try and sit down with 1,000 calories of chicken breast and try and finish that. And I guarantee that you won't be able to even get close. Protein sources are far more filling than carb sources. And the second reason you need to ensure that your protein intake is high enough is that you want to make sure that all the hard work you're doing in your workouts is actually paying off. You need to give your body the raw materials that it needs to actually recover and then adapt. And like I said, you wouldn't expect a building company to be able to build a brand new house if it didn't have the raw materials to do that. And in the same way, if your body doesn't have enough raw materials to produce new muscle and new strength, it can't do it. You need to give it the tools that it needs to adapt. So let's recap. Step 1, figure out what you're eating. Track for 3 days. You can track every day if you want to, but you need to understand how many calories you're eating, when you're eating them, and why you're eating them. From there, you can figure out what kind of things you can change. I recommend making substitutions instead of taking things away, and tackle one thing per week or per fortnight that you want to change about your diet. So go slowly to go far. And then step 3 is to make sure that you're eating enough protein. Even if this means adding a protein shake into your diet every couple of days, you need to make sure that the work you're doing is actually going to come to fruition, because otherwise, why are you even working hard in the first place? And also, by eating more protein, you'll feel fuller for longer. So thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.